Tell me when you're ready to go.
Should be good.
I'd like to call the meeting to order for November 22nd, 2022. Would you please rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Would you please join in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Paula is sick, our fiscal officer, so she is absent. So I'll do the roll call. Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Hunter here. Trustee Good. Here. And we have no minutes to approve. We have do we have our financial?
We do.
I'll make a motion to pay our expenditures. Do I have a second? Second. Roll call. Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter, yes. Trustee Good. Yes. And is Hannah on
Yes, she is.
tonight? Do you have it open so we can say hi to her? Or so she can say hi back?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Hannah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay, we'll go on to department reports. Deputy Hamilton?
All right. So in the last 2 weeks, here in Pleasant Township, there was 109 calls of service. 12 reports were made, no arrests, and 6 tickets were issued. Out of those calls of service, 2 of them were burglaries. The burglaries were both unfounded with the officers responded there. 1 theft, which was a cybercrime. And then 18 accidents were responded to, 7 suspicious persons or vehicles were responded to, 7 alarm drops, 21 traffic stops were made, and 7 disabled vehicles stopped up. That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to the road department. Robert?
We've been performing equipment maintenance. We had a spot on Grassley Road that we had to dig out and rebase. There's another spot I'm gonna have a company called Decker come in and do the blacktop on those before it gets cold. I had the intention of we've got the headstone footers dug, but we went to pour them this morning, went to get Portland cement. And we had an adventure trying to track some down. I guess it's a hot commodity right now, so. But we did end up finding some, so we're planning on doing that tomorrow. Other than that, one of our employees, Rick, helped out with the county engineer's bake sale auction. There's a charity auction for the Mid-Ohio Food Bank. And what did you say that?
Excess of $2,700 bake sale.
I'm just glad we had to or had the opportunity to help the county out for once.
What was that, Morgan?
What's that?
What was that?
There was baked goods that were donated and they had a live auction. And they generated excess of $2,700 from the auction to go to the Mid-Ohio Food Bank.
Wow. Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it?
Everything else we did was too boring to mention. So,
All right.
That's not true.
All right, then we'll move on to the fire department. Chief Whiting?
Okay, we went and with a little bit of encouragement, we were able to get our medic completed and picked that up on Monday, had our final inspection, and we brought it back. I was hoping to have it here for you tonight, but they were able to take it tonight and start working on the radios. So we have to put radios in, then it'll have to be lettered and striped. So hopefully within, by our next meeting, we'll have it up and running and in service. And we'll have a show and tell for our meeting. Let's see, equipment, We had to replace a transmission cooler line on the tanker. That one morning it was all over the floor, so we had to have that towed in, get that fixed. We got new tires on engine 231, which they were due for the winter. We just finished up our self-contained breathing apparatus bottles were tested this morning, their annual flow test. From the community risk reduction, our CIR program, we have a lot of social media posts out for Thanksgiving. I think we have some things on our sign out there, and tomorrow we're going to do a demonstration. I think one of the news stations is coming, and we're going to do a demonstration with the hazards of improperly using a turkey fryer. So we're going to do something on that. Training wise, Aaron Price, one of our senior firefighters, just completed the officers training through the Ohio Fire Chiefs Association. And then miscellaneous, we had a grievance on payroll, but I think I got that resolved. So.
All right, anything else for Chief? Hey, any old business? A new business, Swaco has a survey. They said it will take 15 to 20 minutes to complete. Needs to be completed by December the 9th. If you want me to fill that out, I will.
Okay.
Is that okay with you? All right. Any other new business?
I spoke with Mr. Booker at the Andrew Booker at Swaco about replacing the some of the totes. There's 180 minimum when you purchase them from the company, and I said, that's not gonna work. I said, get me a price on 50 of them, and he was gonna call me back, but he didn't get back with me today, but he thought they would be in the vicinity of $45 a piece, complete. He wanted to know if that's something that we would be willing to go forward with, if they would be around $45.
I think that's what they were.
That's what we,
Only,
yeah,
only the township had to pay $5 because of the grant.
yes. He said the price fluctuates because the price of plastic's up and down every week. And he said it fluctuates, and he said that's what would vary the price on the actual toter. So if he comes back with a price $4.50 of them, do you want me to go ahead with that?
Yes.
I will take care of it.
All right. Okay, Paula is absent. Okay, we'll move on to our speaker sheets. Let's start with Mr. Gillespie.
I just didn't see it. But yeah.
I think so. I gotta look here.
Okay.
You don't have to. If you want to, you can. All your friends want you to.
That's pretty much like family over here. So, our main issues at the trailer park that we stay at, they're refusing to do anything. And I've already almost lost my kids due to the sewage issue that we're having at the community gardens. That I turned around, I had to move suddenly. So, cause I just had a baby. And so that's really my issue, is the fact that I own my trailer. Now I have to move because I can't live there or I'll lose my kids. But my main concern is that they're not doing nothing about it. And anytime that I mention to them about doing something about it, they just tell me to move. So.
Now, when you say sewage problems, what is it?
Well, it's like for me, I.
What's your name?
My name is Richard Milo. I'm
Okay.
in lot 43. I finally refused payment to them after they told me I didn't have to pay. They had their maintenance guy come dig a trench through my backyard and go over, it was going down. The trench is still there. The line's still busted. I do construction for a living. Plumbing all the way up. I'm not licensed as a plumber, but they came to me and asked me if I would fix the problem. And a busted line on about there's about 8 mobile homes on just my section of it because I've seen the prints for
Which my
sewage.
mine.
His is on a completely separate one that goes along with my mother, my brother, and them. Which
Do you
is
have
still.
pictures?
Yeah.
I've
Ours is
I've got a video. They have raw sewage,
Ours
but
is-
it's above ground, not in flood, or no.
Ours is so
in my
bad.
backyard. And now they're suing to evict me out of
I've
my
got
home.
pictures of ours, the septic. tank.
Yeah.
They're suing to
Like,
evict me
ours
out of
was
my home
bad.
right now. I've
Like-
got a hearing on the 5th. For an eviction because they said I owe money, but it's, so I don't know what to do here besides the fact I'm fighting for my house. They not only had that, so my kids couldn't play out back. I have 5 girls. And now they've called CPS on me. So we have an open case against CPS that I have a hearing on the 12th for. Nobody in there knows my last name except for the park manager. They knew exactly where to come. They knocked on my door, we answered it. And now I've got an open case where on the 12th is our trial, whether I get to keep my children or not because of, if you want to look, I've got video. It's not overflowing anymore, but the line's still busted. It's a sewer. Sewers have fall, drains have fall. It goes upward into one of the manholes like they're talking about, which theirs is up at the top.
Ours is bad because
Yeah, could you show us?
Absolutely. I can show you pictures where it was on the news 3 years
That's the
ago.
septic tank.
Look, or 3.5 years ago of, where they put a shed on top of, they were legal dumping of Battelle Darby Creek. They finally just fixed that because the, engineers behind us, they stopped when I showed them this video. They just got in trouble for it. Well, they finally helped them fix that sewer, but the line's still busted because me and a couple neighbors have sent snakes down it 4 months back. Like I said, you can't miss if the pipe's going up or down looking at it. So they tried to blow through one, they wouldn't go, so they blew through the other. Now it seeps through, but I'm afraid this is about to start coming back up. I have a trench in my backyard. They're not paying me to fix it. Our maintenance guy has a riding mower and a snake. In 2 months, he sent the snake down. I'm like, it's a side project. If they doing the same thing, you're not gonna get different results. It's 3 variables the same. Like, the snake's not-
Have you seen any
But water speed.
equipment in there?
No, nothing.
What is that? Right.
Oh, he did. They tried to hire me to fix the busted line just on one. Except I'm not doing it without a contract because they're not blaming me for any problems. That's what they do. Now, but they told me I didn't have to pay rent. Now they're telling me I got the eviction here because I'm 3 months behind. And I'm like, I got a couple checks, but they told me I didn't have to pay it. And honestly, I'm escrow or not.
I'm sorry, I don't.
This is still through my yard. This is June. This is 7-8 months after. It's like I didn't turn my flashlight. That's where me and my wife, right, but my head is right on the other side of that skirt.
That's my newborn. That's my
Going to
oldest.
the hospital.
Stepping
I got a cushion, it's like I got to deal with. See, I turn my flashlight. This is all the way through my yard, right down that hill.
Someone supposed to take
It
care of
goes
that.
down and then right next to that. So it's it runs right into the Battelle.
So you own the trailer and can't own it.
Yeah.
That got in trouble for. I wouldn't money to go put all the kids out there.
Stay warm.
Well, right now we're looking.
Water staying.
This was about 5-6 months.
And they want.
The line's still not fixed.
I can't say.
Next to, I can show you where the bus is because it's through the tree.
Right.
We can cut down these
We'll
trees.
sleep.
My brother-in-law owns an arbor. He's an arbor.
Is there stuff in that?
Yeah, there's, well,
Is it there now?
Oh, that whole trench is still there, but there's water's getting, but it's starting back up again because the main one is just seeping out. So that means it's still, like I said, new construction here, but it's not going into that manhole where it's gonna look like that because the line is busted. It goes up. I was gonna get pictures, but that went straight. I was in London, working downtown London. And I rushed here for this, but this is, it goes all the way out to my backyard. One of my neighbors was gonna be here, but he's on hospice. He was just taken by ambulance today to the hospital. Dealing with stuff like this, my wife, like I said, she gets chronic headaches. My kids have been sick quite a bit because, it sets off the chemical. I know what it, I work for a radon company. I know what to do for a living. I'm very good at it. I'm not licensed, but I've built over half a downtown police. He's dealt with the same problem with my parents. We have no water pressure, so we don't have to leave in the showers.
Are not properly secured.
No, yeah, you can walk over, the kids can walk up and jump.
Some of those metal crates they got over top of it.
They're not, yes, they're not. They're trying to fix it. He actually, like I said, he had to move and I'm the same. I got caught on 12th, well, I could with my kids because they accusations that.
They have to come up with it.
They don't.
So I'll think I'll move.
I'm not loading, I'm mobile home
Here's
for
the
a
closer picture.
No, what I'm talking about, I didn't even put parties. They got a big check for me.
Right, but I know, but
We have.
you don't know about it, you know, yeah.
Yeah, that was right. That's the heads.
The only reason why I see it is because my kids have that great move.
Well, yeah, we counted the
So
other
why-
night.
My kids have, I think, great, that's how I do.
My
Look,
youngest
the Lions race will be upset. I got two plumbing companies.
Anybody's get her.
Well, was his trailer.
We got two plumbing companies that came out that were not even there for this. And we tried to find the sewer line next door to his. And I thought they were there for us to try to take care of the problem. They told me to, they're like, it's gonna cost 20-30,000. Gotta cut these trees down, dig the roots out and rerun the whole lines. But now I'm looking at, I'm fighting for my house on the fence because of, I mean, this has been almost a year now. It'll be a year as of January.
Did your mother tell you who we spoke to?
No. I have really, I was at work.
I figured since you said you came right from there. We called, someone called Ed yesterday. And then we called,
That was on water pressure, said you had.
We had no.
We
one.
had-
Yeah, we had no water pressure. I mean, if you're, I'm lucky if I can get the water, you have one for me to get wet enough to
Zero.
get installed.
we called the water
5
department.
minutes to fill up.
And they said, Community Gardens has your own maintenance.
Yes.
We have.
Your own-
He doesn't do anything. Let's finish his sentence.
665 because the guy at the gas station, him and his partner.
What's your else?
I was in charge of remodeling and installing.
Community garden.
One person, and our manager is, she just goes around and threatens everybody for rent. She told me, she said, if you pay rent, maybe something will get fixed. And I said, you guys are asking me to fix it.
Not to mention.
I'm not
The
insured.
Franklin County Water Department gave me a different number, someone named Steve.
Also, Steve, that's Florine's son. That's our park manager.
What's his last name?
Williams.
That's not who I called. It's Steve.
She says that's her son, but when I went to court, against the last year, her son's name was Jason. That's on the paperwork that I got, but her son's name is Stephen. He lives right here across from county. From what I understand.
It was long as Thompson staying on 7 to the.
This guy's name was not Stephen Williams.
Her last name was Williams and she says her son's name is Steve.
Yeah,
Changes all the time.
yeah, that's who I called and talked to. He said he told them to hire a crew to go in and get it fixed.
Well, they say they don't have, their park manager says we don't have any money. That's why they've offered me, they stopped by my parents' house and Florine herself told my mom, she said, well, if the park doesn't pay him, I'll pay him out of pocket. I'm not touching that ground. Unless I have something to write, they're not blaming me, it's not coming back to me, I wouldn't touch it. But I mean, I've been, that sewer line is, I've still got that trench running through my backyard, it's backing up. Every one of my neighbors said they would write a letter to the court saying that literally, I've had a sewer running through my backyard. My kids cannot play back there. I mean, why would I pay them? I mean, escrow's not gonna help me either because, I mean.
I will call this
I'm not having
gentleman
change.
again tomorrow
Please do.
and tell him that you were at our meeting.
We have like a something because I can play something where she's talking to somebody. I have no clue who it is.
No, and honestly-
The company about my.
Isn't this gentleman also involved with the EPA?
Shouldn't have
No.
to come up here with Ricky.
He called and they
I'll
filed,
let you get a word in eventually.
Go ahead.
but he didn't sound like he even lived around here.
He don't. They know.
Yeah, it's
The maintenance guy, he only lived there because he was a squatter there.
in the trailer.
So then they gave him a job. And he doesn't fix nobody.
He does, yeah, he doesn't even have anything to fix anything.
He has
Yeah,
no
the riding
cell phone
mower,
number to
half a shovel.
contact.
Yes, it
And
does.
a snake.
And I gathered that after I talked to your mother
Yeah.
and
when I talked to him.
I gave him a wheelbarrow
He
and
said
another shovel
they
just so he had
He
something.
said he told them to hire a crew to get the right equipment.
I would do some stuff if they would.
Ricky.
I would go get my insurance.
Like somebody else.
But I would do that. I would go get my own insurance. I mean, I've got contractors I deal with daily, but now I gotta fight for my house because I have, they want my house. and They're not getting it. I'm sorry. It's irritating.
It's frustrating, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dealing with hell.
All right, Marcy. Let her.
So I'm Tabitha McCoy, this is Cody McCoy. Actually, Cody's grandmother, Sandy McCoy, was the former park owner and his grandfather built it, and we are currently still living there. To summarize everything, we're a lower income community that's being taken advantage of. And I believe the gentleman you're referring to as Steve was our former park maintenance guy. He actually works for the Franklin County engineer, but he also used to manage the park previously. So if he had mentioned they needed to have that repaired, they're actually telling us there's nothing wrong with the systems and there must be something wrong with our individual homes.
So who does he work?
I believe that if he must still work for the Franklin County engineer and he comes and tests our water because we have a well.
And when I was I've lived there basically my whole life, because my grandmother owned it and I helped her with a lot of the stuff. The pump that they have in the office is like 20-something years old and it's not meant to supply all these new homes they're throwing in there. I'm not sure if they've had permits for it, but they've thrown in 30 more homes back there and added water systems like Jimmy rigged it. Water systems to these homes. There's electric cords going between houses, supplying electric to some of these people from the AEP boxes. They've added 3 shipping containers, and it's very
At the end of his
dangerous.
driveway.
Yeah.
And there's like,
Have you reported it?
So that's why.
We don't know who to report it to, because
That's why
when
we're
you
here
call,
tonight.
they say, well, you have to call them. and
We
you have to call
don't, there's
them.
nobody to call at the park
can't
except for the
talk
park
to anybody.
manager. They say they email the park. We don't know who we're emailing. We all drop rent off at different places.
Well,
That's
it's,
up on the Dyer Road.
I drop off at Dyer Road, some
We
of them
tried
drop
to
off.
contact the health department, but the health department, you're outside of their.
Jurisdiction.
Yes, and the same with,
that can't be.
You call the county or the city?
the city.
The
And I
Cass
think we
County.
also called the county at one
Yeah.
point because last year, so this sewage problem is a reoccurring problem when it rains. The sewage actually backed up into my lot for 3 days and underneath of my trailer. And the manholes are currently, this is quoted from our maintenance man Ralph, he opened up the top. They're filled to the top with sewage, and that's not supposed to happen. When the EPA was out there last year, they said that when you open those manholes, you should be able to see almost to the bottom. It shouldn't be more than 3 feet deep. So there's something wrong, and we've tried to find the proper routes to remedy this, and we cannot. And that's why we're here this evening to see if our township can help us.
and it's been 2 weeks since we've had water pressure, 3 weeks. and
It's a
we have
recurring
kids that
issue,
can't
but it's now
shower.
worse than ever.
Last year, we went for a week in December with no water. You couldn't flush your toilets or anything. You couldn't take
Our
showers. You
water
couldn't-
is pink.
You had no water.
Yeah.
We had pink water for about a week.
Our water has a horrible smell. I mean, water softeners and stuff. There's not room to put those in mobile homes. I mean, I moved a lot of these mobile home, helped break them down and move them. Now, when it comes to whether they were set properly, I don't know who they said came out and inspected it, but they tried to write down Joe's Mobile Homes, owner, Rodney. I know Rodney on a personal level because I moved mobile home and I also used to set them. He didn't sign off on the license. He didn't sign off on this paperwork. So somebody forged his name on a lot of this stuff.
The
Yes, I
EPA
do.
themselves have even had trouble finding the park owners for that lawsuit a couple years ago
Yeah.
where they were dumping the raw sewage into the tributary. When they came out last year, they were telling us they still don't know who the owner is to go after.
We gave
The
them all the
engineers in the
numbers.
back, I
We
got a
gave them-
picture of where they were illegal dumping 3 years or
We
years
talked to
ago.
one
I've got a
person,
picture
they
of
still
that.
talk
Again, this year.
together, and we can't find who the real person to speak to is.
To the group of investors, or there's owners that live in Florida, or they're out of the country.
I
And
believe
we've been told every which way, but I mean, even when I went down to court, they did everything they could to keep me out of going in front of the judge, which I didn't catch it till afterward. They got a big check They said I was paid up and they paid 15 months of it, but I was working for the park trying to get stuff done. They didn't want to pay me. Well, this year again, here we are back at it again. I mean, I had the sewer. I'm going on a year now with this running in my backyard. And they're still not, I mean, now they're telling me they're going after my house. They're suing me for eviction for my home.
Who is telling you that?
Oh, I've got court papers. from,
Florine.
Florine from
Williams.
her personal attorney named Ira Salt.
There would be more residents here, but there's a fear of retaliation. Some of them.
When,
They've already set one of the houses on fire.
when we moved from, a lot of our trailers were from the McKinley Road, Dallas Home Park, is where we came from. When they shut down Dallas, to build, we all had to move our own trailers. Those people who were in there, the elderly that could not afford to move their trailers, what they did was they had to give their titles to the park. And they are supposed to pay that back so much a month.
I saved a lot of them.
A lot of these people who got their trailers moved over there that owe the park are afraid to say anything because they're afraid they're going to take their trailers. Because they don't have control of their titles anymore. The park does.
They're being taken advantage of.
So this woman you mentioned,
Sorry.
who is she?
She is, quote, the park manager.
She's
She
not
came,
100%.
she came around to our trailers when we lived in Dallas. And she asked me if I would introduce her to the people because what they were doing was they was coming in and they was either just buying the people's trailers and they would move, or they would help the people move. I was one of the people that they were supposed to help move. They had me come out, pick a lot. I was one of the first. And when it came down to it, they gave my lot to somebody else. The other lot I picked out was given to somebody else. And I ended up on a totally different lot. She dropped us. She quit helping any of us make the move. So then a lady by the name of Jewel took over. Jewel was a godsend. She helped a lot of people get their trailers moved into the park. Unfortunately, some of them had to turn their titles over. I was able to move ours. But you know, it cost us $11,000 to move
I
over
broke a
there.
lot of people's trailers down
Half
to
of
save them some money on it. Like
Hang on, Ricky. Half of the people that lived there turned their titles over because they needed a place to home, you know, a place to live. They didn't have anything else to be able to do. Florine came to my house probably right about a month ago. And she told me that she was going to try to evict Ricky. And the reason she came to me and told me is because I own the trailer. It's Ricky's trailer, but the trailer is in my name. And so she told me that, you know, they would, you know, we're going to evict him. And I mentioned the open sewage in his yard. And she said, well, Vic told Ricky that he would pay him to do it. And I said, yeah, like Vic stood in front of me and Andre and some other people and said that Ricky could have 7-8 months of free rent for not having sewage for the first, you know, he had no place to go to the bathroom for the first 7-8 months they were in there.
I had a high-risk pregnancy at home. She was on bed rest. That was real fun.
And then when they did go to try to fix things, they actually moved his trailer off some of the blocks.
Yeah, I'm not tied. It's not tied down to nothing. And I'm afraid to touch it because
Yeah, but he talks.
I mean, I set them for a living. I was set them. I can do it, but I've got leaks in my roof and stuff from where they lifted it with my wife pregnant and one of my children in the
I
house.
think it brings up a valid concern because there are children in the park that are playing and we have no idea if these trailers that have been moved in have been set properly, if they're safe. There's cinder blocks around the office area that kids are constantly climbing and could fall. It's all the storage container that's blocking our driveway. If we had a fire, emergency personnel couldn't get to us. And when I brought this up to them, I get no response.
How about if we'll make a phone call, we'll start making phone calls tomorrow and track down somebody hired to deal with.
Okay, so this is the
Andre's
email.
the owner, park operator. and he's nowhere to be seen.
I think there's an agency that governs mobile home parks. I can't think of which agency right now.
I think
But-
it's under the Department of Commerce.
Yeah. it's
Yes,
under the
that's
Department of
it.
Commerce.
There has to be somebody there we can get a hold of.
My trailer is sitting on the frame. Mine's not even sitting on center block.
He asked me to come help him lift it up off me because I'm.
This is.
No,
Mine's
email.
literally sitting in the dirt. Mine, I can go to one end of my trailer and just,
This is the
Off
email
my
that they sent me on Monday,
my doing, I sit right behind these.
telling me that,
Who sent it?
the community
We
gardens.
don't know. Nobody knows who.
We don't know who community gardens is. One person tells you,
Florine's the.
Leah is the one that collects the money. 4-H
Yeah,
park
we get a
manager,
text.
Ralph is the maintenance manager.
But he's.
Nobody knows who the owner
Can you
is.
send a copy of that to me?
Yes, you know, I have them from last year too, when we didn't have any water.
Yeah, the park manager shows up to our house
Sad thing is.
about
don't know
everything,
who
about
goes.
anything that they got to complain about, but when we asked her, like, I don't have messages to her.
I'll give you my email.
Nobody, but she told me you need to email the park. I'm like, you're the park manager. Who else? I mean, we're confused. Now they're telling me I gotta go to court. They're suing me. They're suing me to move out. I'm like, so they've been after my house for a while. They're not, I own the biggest house in there. I'm not giving it to them. I'll tear it down. I'll burn the walls and stuff. I mean, it ain't gonna go out of control.
If I have any updates, do you want to be the liaison for everybody?
Yeah.
Want my house.
Did everybody for that? Tabitha, do you want to be the liaison for us?
It doesn't matter to me.
Tabitha will do it.
Yeah, I'm actually a property manager and a realtor on my own, so I don't mind.
Okay.
It's just
No, I'm
the
saying,
peer
I'm gonna burn it something like fire.
We just don't want retaliation because we're all in one of those leases.
Not stupid. You just.
We will, whoever we talk to, we will not give them any names.
That's fine.
And is this the number I would call
Yes.
to get you?
I actually manage properties along this, so I just being on it.
Well, you can title it if you're not moving it.
You guys contacted public health and got them to come out there.
Not a lot of
When I
money.
contacted them, they said that we needed to contact, that wasn't within their jurisdiction, but that was a couple months ago.
So that should be Franklin County public health.
I did see in your meeting notes from previous email, a zoning email, so I emailed them about the trailers.
Also trying to find an attorney to take me, it's, you gotta have money.
Now, it's very
Yeah,
bad.
it would go to,
It's expensive.
I don't believe that's a zoning issue. That's,
I just knew it was someone within the city. I'm like, they may forward it to the right person. I've tried to contact several people.
The park, when you go back into the water treatment plant, off to the right-hand side, when you're coming into the park and you take it all the way to the back, is where they're planning on putting 30 new trailers. And that's where they're putting water lines and stuff, but they're not taking care of the rest of us.
And since they've run the water, nobody has water.
Yeah, we haven't had water, nobody, I mean, we gotta go other places. I went through this before, it was $12 a month.
Residents there, probably months, not.
So before his grandma passed away, when this park was sold, she actually stated that it did not have the capacity for utilities to expand without equipment being expanded and upgraded. But none of that's been done in the surrounding
And
homes.
they're stealing electric from the people, lots of extension cords and running up to these houses they just put in. So like someone's paying a higher bill or someone else.
So you have a summary of everything. Appreciate your help.
and,
Said I'm doing illegal construction.
Tabitha and Pam.
okay, and Tabitha is going to be our contact?
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay,
And if you can't get a hold of her, you can call me.
all right, okay.
Do
you want an email for Tabitha? Do you, is that easier since you know all the people?
Yeah.
It's gonna come too quick.
Sorry about wasting your guys, or no, well, how many you guys here for this?
They're not, this is every Tuesday. It's just like ridiculous.
Well, because whenever we've called, to find out, they just keep giving us numbers, different numbers. You know, we've been doing this now for well over a year. The EPA was out last year. We gave them all the contact numbers that we had of people of the park. And they said they can't get a hold of the people
Looking for who.
who owns the park. None of us
3
can.
years ago to find.
You know, we're paying, you know, they're raising our rent in January to $440.
Yeah,
Keep going back to.
look, the way they're doing this is it's an LLC.
Okay.
We pay
We don't-
Community Gardens.
Trustee.
Tabitha, you have direct deposit for them, right? They won't give us an account for us to put ours in.
Would they make us-
We have to go drop our payment off. Down on Dyer Road.
They're trying to go after an election for a suit.
So there's a mailbox down there where we either have to mail it or we have to go drop it off.
1649.
Something like that, yeah.
Is that another?
That's another one of the parks.
And apparently they were in Channel 6 News because a gentleman had a tree that fell down on his roof and they wouldn't come and fix it. So he went to Channel
I
6
saw the
News.
video.
Have you talked to Channel 6 about this?
I called and left a message today and was working on an email when you called me. And, you know, I was out trying, I'm getting ready to have a hip replacement, so I was out trying to get some of our other neighbors to come. Some of the older ones won't because they're afraid, and, you know, some of them weren't home. I'm sure that they were probably at work. So, you know, I only talked to like 5 or 6 people.
Well, we'll start from this point on and we'll work together to get something resolved.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I mean, I got a hearing on the fifth of my house. I was told I didn't have to pay because, I mean, a year now I've had sewer in my backyard. It's above ground.
Thank you for coming. Sorry you're dealing with this. Hopefully they can at least get your water pressure up by Thanksgiving, like he said. But
Hopefully. Fingers
You
crossed.
know, I actually have, I don't know, I walked around my trailer today and videoed the water that is actually coming out of each one of my faucets. My bathroom in the master bedroom, the kitchen, the bathtub. I mean, it's really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Literally 5 minutes to fill up.
I believe there's some free legal service. I'm not sure where you would look for that. But there's somewhere in the city or county you can call for free legal advice. And I don't have that. I know people have used that in the past, but I would look into that. And especially as a group, just to protect yourselves too. So.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
we
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate you inviting us to come here tonight and.
don't
to-
hesitate to come to a meeting. They're the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, 7:00, or call any of us at any time.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
We make no promises, but we will work for you and try to get something done.
Yeah.
Just the start of the first steps, all that matters. Not knowing where to go the first one.
No, because actually, you know, Maureen is a very nasty woman.
She is.
After
Yes,
the past
she-
5 times she's
she-
come in.
Yeah, she tried
brought
to
the
kick me
cops.
out just because I asked her to have the electrician, because even my electric box is this far from the ground. And I have even less wiring, so that my fuse box or my junction box outside is literally just sitting in it. So like if I were to take that off, I'd pull it right out. It's not even properly secured. Like if the wind blows, my power blows.
Well, I don't know where we're going to start, but I know it's not with her.
Yeah.
It will not be.
They said they were owned by a group of investors,
Okay.
JT Williamson
Tell us
Foundation or something, but
Everybody else's business.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, she does.
she'll go out there and tell me about the business, even I didn't know him at the time. She'll be like, oh yeah, there's this
That's
guy
how
from
we
Bricky
became
over
friends.
here. Like this, that, and the other, and then like she comes up and she talks to people's kids, telling them what to do, or go tell your parents this, like.
or she
Go
calls
talk
CPS
to
on
my
me.
kids about something that's grown people's business. Like, that's not my kids
That's,
doing.
We will stay in contact with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you did say something about access blocked or something. Did you?
Yeah,
So where's that at in there? Cause we'll go take a look.
right by the mailbox,
Right.
right by the mailbox, as soon as you pull in.
It's our house,
Yeah,
so
you're
where
back
the
door.
white offices next to the mailboxes, there are 3 separate shipping containers.
And they placed one on our driveway, so we
We
have
have
to
to
like,
like zigzag almost to get through it, and like with our car, it's hard. I know an ambulance couldn't make it down there.
Well,
And then you can come to my trailer and I'll give you Florine's number that you can call her. She's the park manager.
No, but
we'll go take a look at that because access is important. And if, we feel we can't get in there and it's blocking roadways, then we'll address that.
Burning track record by that week.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's
so
running
you have
trucks like
measures
any
that you
driver.
can make them move that.
Well, we don't, I'll see what the access is. If we can't get in, they're actually blocking a roadway, then we'll address it that way.
Okay.
So without looking at it,
Yeah,
seeing how it impacts us, I don't want to say one way or another.
right, yeah, I understand.
You
But
can
it's
pull
like
them to the
hidden,
yard.
so you have to go past
Yeah,
the
you go
mailboxes
through
and
whatever.
you'll see the shipping container and you'll see where my
It's like
driveway
a
is
dirt road.
supposed to be.
Okay,
it's like a dirt gravel road.
okay,
They have one of the nicer trailers.
And it's the one with the garage.
Okay.
2-car garage.
we'll go back and we'll take a look at that and see.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate you, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much for taking some time.
I got a long drive back to the South End, because I moved.
Okay, we'll go on to our next speaker sheet. Brian,
You all have a nice.
Sorry it took so long.
thank you. You too, and hopefully you'll have water.
Yeah. But at times since I've been here, sick with COVID and so forth, so, I represent, because of Lake, HOA. So we just had a couple, concerns or questions. I do apologize if I repeated this, because I think I've asked you once and I apologize, I forgot. One is, when we do get the blacktop replaced in our area, is that gonna be, the road's gonna be all dug up and replaced with fresh new, or are they gonna do it on top of?
We'll have to see, but usually how that works is they will, you see them going down like milling some off.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah,
6
and
inches,
then-
whatever. They just,
What I've seen them do it, they did it out here on Norton Road. They grind that down and then on roads like that have the transverse cracks in them, they'll put down a layer of tar and then like a fiberglass. It kind of chops it up and shoots it out. And then they lay the pavement over it as like they'll help reinforce it.
Okay.
But as of right now, which grant funding usually takes a little while, I don't expect to hear anything probably until after the first of the year. If we get approved for that or not, so.
or is this one of the questions I had? I wasn't sure. Appreciate that. Thank you. Next one is on Lambert Road 62. There's been a lot of construction and so forth. Evidently, I'm newer to the area, so I don't have a history here, but those who have stated that there was a lot of concern about getting on and off of 62 from Lambert or crossing over, get onto 71, and that they're afraid of a serious accident, and they're wondering if there's any investigation to put up a light there to maybe avert, an unfortunate death or a serious accident to somebody. I think they had some assessments before. I don't know if anything ever came about of it. I thought someone said something about a roundabout maybe, or if there was just not enough for a light to be put up, but they're wondering, is there ways that they can drive to get to a light to be put up there? And if so, what would need to be done so that they can avoid an unfortunate situation? And that's Lambert and 62.
It's in the works. I mean, I'm not saying there's gonna be a light there, but we are working on
So
that.
there's discussions about it.
There is discussion.
And last one. In our community, we had wooden posts which were used as street signs. Evidently, I guess they've been removed, and I've been unfortunately out of town and so forth, so I haven't noticed as much. Are they gonna be replaced with like metal poles with street signs?
They're already installed.
Are they already installed?
Yeah, they're on top of the stop signs.
Okay, so they're on top of the stop signs.
Yeah.
So within the road though, I didn't see any stop signs. Because as you come through into the community, you used to have different wooden posts within there with street names on them. But I didn't see any metal stop signs or anything like that on there, but maybe I did miss those.
Well, wherever a road intersects with another one.
Yeah.
There's a stop sign, and on top of that is road name sign.
Okay. All right, Mr. Seeker said, the street signs, would remove, did you remove it? Says yes, and new poles and the stop sign. Okay, so that all those will have these street signs on top of the stop sign. Okay. At this time, that is it.
All
I
right,
appreciate it. Thank you.
We're also in communication with the engineer's office about getting some paving done on Lambert Road from 62 to 71 there.
Okay.
Silver up.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
all right. Does anybody have anything else? Okay, the chief is requesting an executive session. So I will move to go into executive session according to the Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, for discussion about manpower and hiring. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, trustee Cheats,
Yes.
trustee Hunter, yes, trustee Good,
Yes.
You can split. You can split.